Hello and welcome back to On the Break. I'm here with Joe. We're going to talk some baseball as we usually do, and the season is finally over. But first off, Joe, how are you doing today, my guy?
Good. It was fun to see baseball last night. Just another really good game. This World Series ended up being awesome. I enjoyed every game. Um,
Yeah.
some decisions were made last night that we don't agree with. Some people do, some people don't. So we'll all get into that. But it was good to see baseball in the forefront last night.
Yeah, and if you don't know what happened, I expect you would know what happened if you're watching this. But if you don't, the Dodgers won the World Series in six, just like we said it would happen. So, we got something right for once. Our playoff bracket was nothing special, but the Dodgers did win in six. So we did it. But what did you make of the game last night? Again, there were some interesting decisions, but the Dodgers win for the first time since 1988. The highest payroll team in baseball, really. They're up there at the very least. And, they took down the Rays, who have a very low payroll. In 6 games, the Rays put up a pretty good fight. I mean, what did you make of this whole series as a whole, really, before we get into some interesting decisions?
I think for the most part we'll focus on the crazy ending
Yeah.
at the end. Just as a pure game standpoint. As a person who wants to work in a front office someday, a person who loves analytics, there's times as a manager that you can stray away and use your own head. This
Yeah.
is what you're paid to do. You're paid to make your own decisions and use the data that you were given to make that decision. And I think it was just an overthought decision. Snell was shoving. I think he had 9 Ks and 6 2/3, something like
He was
that.
dealing at the very least. That
Or
was
no,
his second
five
hit
and
of the game.
I think it was 5 2/3, 9 Ks. He's given up only 2 hits, and that ball wasn't even barreled.
Yeah.
He so, and especially to the point where Mookie Betts, the next batter that comes up, has the lowest, I mean, actually the lowest slugging percentage in the major leagues this year against left-handed pitchers. Comes to show you that when the data comes to it, he still was the good choice. I
Yeah.
think, when you look at the third time around the order, stat, and all these things, but when the Dodgers are the team in the other dugout going, oh, hopefully he gets taken out, this would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
You don't give the team that. He's only at 70 pitches. He's not working hard. If there's the opportunity where he comes in tomorrow, if there is a tomorrow, and you believe in your pen that much, that's the explanation I want to hear, that you wanted him for tomorrow too. But
Yeah, it
you got to
wasn't
win
bad.
that game first. You got to win this game first. I'm very happy for the Dodgers organization, even though I don't love what happened at the end of the game. Like I said, Andrew Friedman's the best general manager in any sport. I think Dave Roberts is a hell of a manager. And push comes to shove, Clayton Kershaw finally got his ring. Mookie
That's what we
Betts is one
wanted.
of the Mookie Betts and Mike Trout are up here, and everyone else in the league is down here. So, you know what? I give my hats off to the Dodgers organization for just building something special and not even flaunting the money, other than Joe Kelly and Mookie Betts, who really gets paid extremely well. That it wasn't a homegrown talent or a trade that they made, like Justin Turner, Max Muncy. Some of these low end guys that they just their player development is so fantastic. Tip my cap to them. Homegrown organization with two or three little fine touches on top. That's how baseball should be. For the payroll aspect, yeah, they're higher than the Rays, but they're very similarly built. And I tip my cap to the Rays organization. Amazing season, amazing job. I can't wait to see them win a World Series. But there's a lot of internal discussions that need to be fixed within the Rays' decision making in big games, because this was the second time it came back to bite them, not the first. If you remember, against the Astros, Snell got beat. They took out Snell with a shutout going. They get beat. So,
Yeah, it's about trusting your guy. I mean, Blake Snell's their best pitcher, pretty much. He was absolutely dealing in that game. We're getting into it. I mean, I just don't know how you pull him. But here's the thing. If they get the 2 outs after they pull him, are we even talking about it? But obviously that's what happened. They ended up giving up 2 runs. The Dodgers took the lead and ended up winning the World Series.
I
But
also
if Blake Snell gives up the runs, then we're talking about, oh, they should have pulled Snell. But I still think Snell was the best option there. He's your ace. He's your guy. But it was just interesting to think about what ifs. But at the end of the day, this is what happened. And now we're sitting here talking about the Dodgers winning that World Series.
And I see another scenario that could have played out. See Nick Anderson in I think it was 7 postseason appearances with a run.
Yeah.
He was one of the best pitchers in the league all year, over the last 2 years. But Aaron Loop in that situation, who's been great all postseason, you keep the lefty in, and he's a ground ball specialist. Maybe it doesn't make us think twice.
Yeah. No,
know,
I feel you
going to a righty against Mookie Betts, who's a fly ball guy, who's been iffy this postseason, instead of going to your ground ball specialist, your lefty, who can complement that Mookie stat even better. Maybe I'm not scratching my head as much, but
That's all it is. It's just a head scratcher, really. But I mean, really, the biggest head scratcher of the night was Justin Turner was taken out of the game during the middle of the game. Justin Turner was taken out. Nobody knew why, and it came out during the whole celebration that he had tested positive for COVID. So it was weird seeing, all the Dodgers. They all had masks on for the most part. They all had the masks. Not all of them had them on, but you see Clayton Kershaw celebrating with his children, Mookie Betts holding his child, and you just found out that Justin Turner tests positive for COVID, and you're still doing this. Yes, the possibility of a false positive is there, but the risk taking, the just ineptness there was strange enough. And then the absolute cap of that was seeing Justin Turner celebrate with the team, even with a mask on. He was celebrating with the team after finding out that he had tested positive for COVID probably about an hour before. It just does not add up to me. MLB released a statement saying that this was wrong. This is not what Justin Turner was supposed to do. He was supposed to be out of the stadium, not celebrating with his team. And, there will most likely be a fine coming his way if I had to bet on that. But it was just really weird to see how this was treated, this whole situation. It makes you think, what if there was a game 7? What would we even have it? So what's really your take on that? Because that was just a really strange moment to see watching, because they had to know during the celebration that he had tested positive, right?
before I get into anything, I just wanted to say my, thoughts and prayers to Rob Manfred. He did not seem okay
Yeah,
during the second speech. There was definitely a lot of slurring of words, and it was very concerning to watch. Not sure exactly what the factor into that was, but it did not look okay from a health standpoint, so I hope he is okay.
for sure. Yeah.
But I will say the Major League Baseball fumbled the bag on this one. Um, as an athlete myself, I could not imagine winning a World Series or doing something I've worked since I was a little kid to do and not being able to celebrate with my team.
Yeah.
But in this case, as until he went out on the field, that was my thoughts. Until he acted irresponsibly, all I could think about was him as the player. But look at how many little kids were on that field. Look at how many spouses that you don't know whose medical issues are. You look at Magic Johnson was on the field. The
Dave
owners
Roberts'
were on
underlying
the field.
conditions.
Dave Roberts recovered from cancer. And if you look at the picture of him next to Dave Roberts without a mask on, speaks, it's just so concerning. Not
Yeah.
even just for baseball, but for what our world is right now.
This
Turner
whole
was irresponsible, acted ridiculously irresponsible. And, hopefully there is no backlash from this in other player and, people's health that was in this game. Like you said, Mookie Betts, Clayton Kershaw, all holding their children. Little children. They're not even fully developed, and this virus can take over. It's very concerning. even from a Rays standpoint, you just played across the field from this guy for 8 innings, and they knew he was positive before the game. Before the game. And they wanted to double check if he was a false positive. Very, very disappointing from the MLB, from the Dodgers organization. And it sucks that we have to be talking about this the day after the Dodgers won their first World Series since I think it was 1988.
Yeah.
Clayton Kershaw gets his first ring. Mookie Betts puts on a show. And, you're looking at one of the greatest organizations of all time. We're not even celebrating their World Series as much as we thought we were anymore. That immediate information that came out after the game, literally, I think it was after the last out.
Yeah, right after.
They went right onto the TV and said it. It kills me as a baseball fan that the World Series lost its flash at that point. This is the biggest moment of the sport. We're not going to see baseball again until February. And the off season's not like basketball or football where it's all in 1 week and everyone's watching all week. So from a health standpoint, from the game standpoint, this was just utterly irresponsible and stupid, and I can't believe, we're even sitting here having to talk about this because it never should have even came up. They're in a bubble.
Yeah.
Where'd this
never
come
should have
from?
happened. It was just so strange to me. You're right. We should be talking about Clayton Kershaw. How great, where does he rank in the all-time greats now? We should be talking about how great Mookie Betts is of a player. But we're talking about Justin Turner testing positive for COVID and being out there with the team, and we're concerned about, children and Dave Roberts and Rob Manfred even, thoughts out to him as well. Hopefully he's doing okay. It's just, this is supposed to be this special moment where Los Angeles wins a world championship for the first time since 1988, and the Lakers winning one as well. But we're talking about this.
And look at these players. They want to celebrate.
Yeah, they were.
This could be the only time these players ever win a ring.
Yeah.
Look at Justin Turner. He's 35? Clayton Kershaw is in his 30s. You look at some of these other players on this team, some of these guys will never get the other opportunity, maybe even make the playoffs again or sniff a World Series.
Yeah, the window is shutting.
You want to celebrate. And the Turner issues caused kind of, it was like you had to kind of be taken back, and you could even, I wouldn't say you could see it completely because no player overreacted.
Yeah.
But there was some eyes looking around, and, there were some people that weren't as excited or, didn't seem as over the top as, you would during a World Series.
There's a picture of Mookie Betts with his son. There is no smile on his face. There is no smile on his son's face either. And I saw Bellinger was looking kind of iffy too the entire time.
And for a guy like Turner, he's a free agent at the end of the year. The Dodgers have a lot of depth in their infield farm system. They're going to go with the cheaper option. He will not be a Dodger again.
Yeah.
No matter what happened yesterday. So this was the last moment he could have spent with his teammates celebrating a World Series. And whatever he did the day before, whatever his family did the day before that was irresponsible, now has the toll on him that he didn't get to celebrate for the full extent, and now he risked his teammates and owners and just people around him's safety. So as much as I feel bad for the guy for not getting to celebrate, it's on him. I'm at a loss for words after this,
Yeah.
I feel bad because I feel bad for the other players around him. I still feel bad for him not getting to celebrate to the fullest extent, but it is on him.
Yeah, it's unprecedented times, and at that point, it was more important for safety rather than being able to celebrate the World Championship. Because at the end of the day, whether he's able to celebrate it or not, he is still a world champion. But lives and safety are more important than that. I know you agree with that, but yeah. It's just such a bad just botched job by the MLB. You,
Well,
yeah,
if you think about it, eventually there will be a parade. Eventually there will be something, and
has
he
been
will
delayed by
get
the
to.
way.
Yeah, but eventually.
Yeah,
So maybe I don't feel as thinking about it now, maybe I don't feel as bad as I would have because yeah, there's a different moment of celebrating on the field right after you win
yeah,
to, you know, the buses and everything that happens during the but you still have that opportunity in 2, 3 weeks or whatever, however long it's gonna take. It's this year is unprecedented for a reason. It's very different than the world's ever been.
of course.
So, there was no champagne, there was no going nuts in the clubhouse, there was no, cigars, or, there's not going to be 30,000, 50,000 people sitting in downtown LA while buses ride by. So, it's going to be very different, but just this should be a point of emphasis for however long this virus is around. This needs to be fixed. This needs to just be done. He never should have played
Yeah,
in the game after, or if it was the second inning or whatever Ken Rosenthal said, whenever he tested inconclusive or positive, he never should have stepped foot on the field again.
not at all. He should not have played in the game. That I think everyone, even at this point, MLB thinks that he never should have played. Looking back on it, but again,
They shouldn't have
there is
played the
still,
game.
yeah, he should. Yeah, no, they shouldn't have played the game. But it was just such a tough situation to be in. But the only thing you could really hope for at this point is that it was a false positive, and I think that's what everyone else is hoping for. But even if it's still irresponsible, it still should not have happened this way. And MLB needs to take a long look in the mirror and say, what did we just do? Especially if it is a positive and it ends up spreading to the Rays and Dodgers clubhouses now. And they'll all be going home back to their families. And especially with this third wave of COVID, basically, that we're in, this is a super spreader event. And it's not good for, even just from a baseball perspective, it's not good, but just from a people standpoint, especially, again, hugging their children with no mask on, it was just strange to see. But I mean, anything else you have to add about this World Series?
I do want to say something. At the conclusion of the World Series, Alex Cora is now available to become the Red Sox manager. So we should
Hey,
be looking out for that. I do want to say, hopefully, as I know you're a Mets fan and other people on the break are Mets fans and our listeners, hopefully Friday is your day.
hopefully.
Um, hopefully, I don't really understand why any owners would shoot it down, but he was shot down for the Dodgers bid,
Mhm.
back when they were bought. So let's hope good for the Mets. Free agency opens up on November 1st. We'll definitely get into this more, hopefully, with some other videos.
For sure.
But hopefully, baseball can take these corrective actions. I'm very happy for Clayton Kershaw, very happy for Mookie Betts, some of these players that, are now in Dodgers lore. Happy for an organization that was built the right way in player development and team building. So, I'm a big fan of them winning the World Series. I just hate to see how it ends.
Yeah, you hate to see how it ended, of course, and it should have been a lot grander than it was. But we have a lot of free agency to look forward to. There will be another season, as far as we know. Hopefully, there will be. I'm pretty sure there will be. A lot of free agency talks, a lot of great times. Hopefully, Steve Cohen's the owner of the Mets. Maybe we'll see Alex Cora as the manager of the Red Sox. Anyway, thank you, Joe, for coming on the show as usual. We're on the break. I'm John alongside Joe. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you later.